Oh, look at that quick recovery. There we go. Okie dokie. Well, I'm very happy that you're feeling better. I mean, like, I know you weren't feeling bad, but like, it's just like having that is not
Right.
fun.
But I did get sick right before.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm glad that you're doing better. Oh, it's definitely related. I feel like especially right now, like all the germs and stuff, it's just lingering. Like nothing goes away, unfortunately. Okay. So today we are going to be looking at KWB resources, guys. We're just going to do a little bit of a deep dive on our office website so that you can get more familiar with a lot of the different things that are available to you through our website. So as you guys probably already know, I do have a tendency to talk a little fast, just because for me, I look at this website all the time, so I'm very used to it. And at any point, if I go a little too quickly, just let me know because I can absolutely slow it down for you, or we can repeat some of the information. But if you are in the office with me today and you want to follow along on your laptops, you can. If you'd rather just sit back and watch, there's no wrong answer. But we'll go ahead and start that deep dive now. For those of us online, if you have any questions, you're welcome to shout them out. Should be able to hear you guys through the TV here. So just let me know if there's anything that I can do for you as well while we go through things together. There are going to be a couple things that you can access from different spots on our website. It'll pull to the same information. So I'm going to try my best just to show you guys like the most convenient routes to take so that way you're not trying to memorize something overly complicated. Um, Without further ado, I think we'll go ahead and dive in. The first thing I show you guys on kwbresources.com is always this new agent button that sits right at the front door. If we click on that new agent button, it's really just going to culminate a lot of helpful information for you guys as a newer agent to the office by putting it all in one location. So if we were to click the get started under get started, like learn more right here, by selecting that, actually what you'll see is a breakdown of the onboarding process. So really, since everybody thankfully on this call has completed our onboarding process, you guys don't necessarily have to reference this specifically because it's just going to detail a little bit more about what you could have expected, who you might hear from, when you might hear from them. But what I like to point out at the bottom is the things that you guys can do immediately. Starting with, we'll browse this website together today. You guys are going to take a look at the office calendar with me. We'll talk a little bit more about Ignite, but I know that Ignite just started back up on Friday last week. So hopefully you guys have been able to plug in a little bit, if not to the in-person sessions, maybe some online sessions. If not, our online Ignite does start up again on January 20th, which is next Tuesday. And I can send you guys information on that if you don't already have it. Just email me, I will get it to you. Otherwise, we hope to see you guys join us for in-person Ignite starting next Tuesday. We're hitting session 6, and our in-person Ignite sessions are going to be taught by top producers in this office to make your lives a lot easier. They're going to share their actual experience in this same market to make sure that you guys are learning the ropes the right way. And then we also have a couple key Facebook pages that we'll take a look at. Other than that, it's just about attending office meetings, which clearly you guys are already doing a great job. So thank you so much. I know it's not easy necessarily to jump right into the swing of things. So I appreciate everybody for being so participative and also just showing up in the way that you have. We're excited to see where this takes you guys. I'll take us real quick back to that same new agent tab. On the right-hand side under basic training, you're going to see that there is another learn more button available. If we select this learn more option, what it will do is it will take us to the Scott Leroy marketing website. And the reason that we take a look at this is actually because I know many of us at this point are familiar with Scott Leroy as the team that put together your KW technology. I believe everybody on this call and in person with me already has their tech set up back. If you guys haven't been able to explore that yet or haven't seen that email in your inbox, you're looking for something that says Keller Cloud Setup Complete. And if you just haven't had a chance to dive into that, please shoot me an email. I'd be happy to forward you your information so that you can do that at your convenience. But on the Scott Leroy website, I like to show us this because their help is not just like in setting up your technology and then they go away. They are going to stay a resource for you guys through our partnership where you can reach out to them with questions about your technology. You can reach out to them for assistance and concierge services. There's just a lot that they can do to assist you in the early stages of building your real estate business. So I like to point out on their website, obviously there's that wonderful search bar to the right. So you guys can easily search for whatever you might be looking for on their website and it'll make it easier to get to. So that's an easy way for me to point out something very obvious that's very helpful. And an example I like to give is that a lot of people are using QR codes now, like they're very popular, especially in print marketing. And there's a lot of people who don't necessarily know how to make a QR code. Some of us have never taken that step before, and that's okay. If you've never made a QR code before and you are looking to figure out how to do that, that's something that the Scott Leroy team can do for you. You can use that little search bar, you can type QR code, and a little QR code generator form comes up. They ask you for a couple pieces of information, and you can plug it in, and then they will send you a QR code back to your email, usually within an hour, and that's completely free, by the way. So they can do simple concierge services like that to make your life easier that don't come at any cost. So keep stuff like that in mind. Start exploring their website because there's a lot that they can do to help you guys in your business. But what we'll do actually just real quick, I'm gonna minimize that. We can click in the top right-hand corner where it says log in. We can click on that button because it's going to allow us to type in our market center number so that it recognizes our partnership and gives us access to all the resources that we should have access to. So our market center number is 350. I know you've probably seen that number many times at this point. I apologize because normally you can see it on that whiteboard that's being blocked right now. But if you just type in 350 and hit enter, it's now going to see at the top, there's going to be a lot more tabs available to us now that we've typed in that number. So now we have access to additional materials, additional content that is useful to you and only available to you through our paid partnership. So while we're looking at their website, I like to point out under agent resources in this drop down here, there's a couple really great little items. One of which you'll find is going to be training. And then you can actually go over a step further to training calendar. If you click on that, what'll happen is it's going to take you to the Scott Leroy Marketing training calendar. So they're offering live webinars every single day, Monday through Friday from 1 to 2 o'clock online, where they're going to talk to you a little bit more about your KW technology. They change up the topics of discussion, so they're constantly sharing great and relevant information when it comes to maximizing that technology. So if you guys are curious to learn more about how your technology can kind of work for you, the Scott Leroy team is a great resource. I also know, and I point this out because a lot of us are dual career. So sometimes that means that maybe our schedules are just a little more challenging to navigate right away, making it maybe a little difficult to do some of the online trainings or in-person trainings that we offer on your tech classes. We do trainings in this market center Tuesdays and Thursday afternoons. So you'll have different conversations throughout the week on your technology. And we know that, again, with more complex schedules, it might be easier for you guys to do maybe a Monday or a Friday. So if that opens things up for you, please use the Scott Leroy training calendar because they've got lots of live content you can jump into. They have lots of different focal points as well that might speak to you. So just be aware that this is an option as an additional resource to understanding your tech. All you have to do is click on the specific topic. It'll tell you the topic, and then you guys can also see the Zoom link to hop on that call. So just be aware. I know a lot of times too, like Jules and Leah rotate their topics for their marketing masterminds. You guys might find yourself in a position where Jules and Leah are talking about these 4 topics for the month, and you're like, oh, that's great, but I was really hoping that I could catch a class on Facebook ads, but it doesn't look like they're going to talk about that in the next couple days. You guys can always cross-reference with this calendar and see if maybe the Scott Leroy team is talking about Facebook ads at a time that works better for your schedule, so that you're getting the information in a timely manner too. Outside of the training calendar, still under that agent resources drop down, I just want you guys, I always say this is like your little homework assignment, and we talk about it at the very beginning of class. At the bottom, you're going to see there's agent support and marketing support. Specifically, marketing support. I will be honest, because I am not in your position. I have only explored probably a fraction of what they can do for you. But I point this out because there's a lot that the Scott Leroy team will do for you guys for free. And I want you to be aware of that because initially, when you guys are starting out, you guys are doing everything yourselves. And that can be a lot. So as you guys are getting your footing, refer to the Scott Leroy team, figure out where their concierge services could fill in gaps for you or where it could save you some time and energy because there's a lot that they'll do, again, at no cost to you guys. So my homework assignment for you is please explore some of those services over the weekend, figure out what they can do to help you because there's so much that they can do that I can't even necessarily speak to because I've not used it. So just be aware that that's a great way for you guys to save time at no cost. And if you're giving them enough notice, like they can do, I know for example, like they can do like an open house or a listing flyer for you. They can create flyers for you. If you give them 24 to 48 hours notice prior to, they can usually get that information shared back with you right away. So just be aware that there's a lot they're happy to do for you guys and that they are still a continued partner and resource. After that, the only other thing I like to look at with you is actually this store option on the far right. If we click on store, it's going to take us to agentstore.com. One of the most common questions I get from you guys as new agents is in regards to business cards and ordering business cards. And that's a great question to have. The unfortunate thing I have to tell you guys is that unfortunately it's not part of your onboarding, so I'm not ordering business cards for you. But as a positive, what that means is that you guys can order something you actually really love instead of being like, oh crap, I have the same template as everybody else in the office. So we want to make it so that you guys can have this unique touch and make it something that feels more you and representative of your business. So Agent Store is always a recommendation I make because they have 32 pre-done templates specific to KW on the Agent Store website. So that can be really, really helpful for you guys to order those cards and name tags too. There's lots that they can offer you guys through this store, and it's not limited to just those two. But business cards is always why I bring this up specifically. You can get your cards ordered with an easy done template where you're just dragging and dropping your information. And then the best part is that it's also at a really competitive price. I know right now with everything as expensive as it has been lately, this is a good way to find a win. Obviously, I ordered mine a few years ago, so I can't be 100% accurate in my pricing. But for me, my 500 business card order was $39. So that's very cost effective, especially when you're getting started. So just keep that in mind. But most importantly, I also want you guys to know that you will be required to get your business card design approved by Tasha Viney. So she's our big associate. So if you're a provisional broker in the state of North Carolina, i.e., you've not completed your post licensing yet, that's okay. You will be required to get her approval on your design before you order it. And that's actually just to protect you guys. It's to make sure that legally you have everything you need to have and nothing you cannot have on there. And also to protect you from ordering something that you think is ready to go. And then you spend money on it and then you find out you can't use it. And there's really no refund for that because if it was your mistake. So Tasha is going to double check your design, give you the thumbs up, tell you you're good to order. Or what she might do is she might also reach out to you and let you know, hey, we might need to make one small change beforehand. So just be, again, aware that this is out here for you guys. You're not limited to Agent Store. You can, of course, go through Canva or Vistaprint or something unique to customize for your business, but just make sure she's consulting with you and giving you the final say. After that, we do come across a few key Facebook pages underneath or Facebook groups to join. The top two are actually managed by this office. The first one is one that I email to everybody as soon as you guys join. It connects you with our main private Facebook group that are all of our agents and our leadership team. We're constantly in there communicating about upcoming events. We're constantly communicating about open house opportunities, showing opportunities. People are sharing their listings from exclusives. There's just lots and lots and lots of fantastic conversation happening on that page all the time. You're looking for referral partners or vendors. That's another easy way to get some recommendations. So just be aware that this Facebook page is tons of communication and a great way for you guys to stay on top of what's happening in Valentine. So I always email it to you guys. If you've not yet joined that page, you're looking for an email from me that should have rainbow balloons in it saying, welcome to the KW Valentine family. Inside of that email, that is where you'll find that Facebook link. If not, you can copy and paste it directly from our website. Below that page, there's also going to be a link to join our Strategic Alliance Partner Facebook page, which is actually just our vendor partner Facebook page. As many of you probably know, we do have a preferred vendor program here at Valentine. So we've got tons of vendors participating in the program, and each of them have been vetted by other KW Valentine agents. So you know you're getting a reliable product or service based off of their recommendations and their experience. So when it comes to the Strategic Alliance Partners, we do have a vendor corner on the far far side of the office that you guys can go find a lot of their information. But if you were looking for an easy way to connect with some of them, it can be done through this Facebook group right here. Click on it. A lot of those vendor partners are going to be part of that Facebook group. They're sharing about different promotions, different services that they offer, and just an easy way for you guys, again, to start building relationships or grabbing multiple quotes to share with your clients. Um, Underneath, we are also seeing that there are two additional pages. Charlotte Area Realtor Network, of course, is going to be our real estate agents in Charlotte, not specific to a brokerage. So it's not managed by this office. This is just an easy way for you guys to network with agents in the area. In addition, we have the KW Carolinas region. This one is going to be managed by the Carolinas region, but essentially in North and South Carolina, there's about 42 different offices for Keller Williams. And in those offices, obviously, we're all collaborating, and the Carolinas region represents each of us. We're participating in the Carolinas region. And so what they do is, in addition to the fantastic trainings you guys have access to through our office, you actually also have an additional layer of trainings you're eligible to go to through the Carolinas region as well. So if you guys are looking for some different kinds of trainings that might not be brought into our office as often, ones that sometimes get to include travel, like maybe you guys get to go to the beach, use that as a write-off, not a bad time. You can also participate in Carolinas region trainings. There's going to be a lot of that conversation right there on their Facebook group. Additionally, it's a great way for you guys to, again, network with other agents. Specifically, these will obviously be KW agents, but sometimes agents prefer to work with Keller Williams agents because they feel, okay, I know you've got a similar training background to me. So I know that you're somebody who can help my clients in referral situations, but it's a great way to start building that referral network too. So just keep an open mind, keep thinking about outside the box and different ways you guys can set up yourselves for success. And that starts a lot of times with just plugging yourselves into different resources that give you information that can help you in the long run. Underneath those Facebook groups, there is a little handout called Kellerisms. I don't ever click on this one, but if you do, it takes you to a little PDF handout that will actually just explain to you how or what the terminology you're hearing in this office actually means. I know a lot of times when we get settled in, we start to piece things together. But sometimes what might happen is you might hear a term thrown around in the office and you're like, I'm not really sure what that means, but I don't really want to ask that question either. If you feel like you're ever in that boat, this colorisms handout takes all of those specific terms and it breaks it down into like a real world definition. So it makes it much easier for you guys to identify what that means and then also understand the context around it too. So be aware that that's very helpful, especially if you guys are coming across unfamiliar words like after hours. Totally feel like you have a resource to reference anytime. Otherwise, again, we're always here as your leadership team. You could easily reach out to us as well. We did talk about this. Every single one of us would have talked about it when we met together, but we do have some on-demand resources for helping you out with your KW technology. One of those resources is going to be answers.kw.com. The simplest way I can explain that to you guys is it's almost like Google for your KW technology. If you go to that website, and you click and if you go to that website, you can actually search keywords on that website related to what technology platform you may be working on within Keller Williams, i.e. Command, your website. Maybe it's about DocuSign. So different things like that. You can go to answers.kw.com, search those keywords, and those helpful articles pertaining to that topic pop right up. So it makes it much easier for you guys, again, to find information about how to navigate a step further when you might need it most, especially in after hours circumstances. So be mindful that that's out there. I know we talked about it already, but it is one I like to reintroduce you to. There's also a sister website to that called ideas.kw.com that you're welcome to visit as well. And that one is dedicated purely to your feedback about KW Command because Labs, who kind of makes KW Command what it is always looking to unveil different ways for you guys to use that at a higher level, but also making sure that your CRM is user friendly and actually helping you guys in your business. It's a real tool for your business. If you ever have recommendations on how to improve upon Command, they're always unveiling those new updates and would love to have your feedback to go with it. So feel free to drop those into ideas.kw.com if you feel passionate about improving your CRM. This isn't an easy way for you guys to download Ignite materials. Hopefully most of you have them by now. If you don't, just shoot me an email. I'd be happy to send them to you. And then also we have access to our training calendar. As I mentioned earlier, there's a much easier way to get to that information. So we're going to bypass it here because I don't want you guys trying to have to remember this complicated route. We're going to try to make things much easier. And then the final piece of the new agent button that we're looking at is about conference rooms. So you've noticed we've got 5 different conference rooms in our office. We also, this is a bad example because this door is shut today, but we have 2 different focus rooms outside the back door of our training room. Our conference rooms, of course, are intended for you guys when you're meeting with more than just one person. If it's not just you basically occupying the conference room, you're collaborating with other agents, you're consulting with clients, you're meeting with your coaches, whatever that conversation may be, but you'd like to have a private space to do that. Our conference rooms are a great option and they're actually made for that exact purpose. So when it comes to booking those conference rooms, it's free. It's very easily done. The only thing we ask you guys to do is just keep it to 2 hours or less for the reservation, just to make sure they're on rotation for everybody, because there are a lot of agents here. So we always say that by hitting that register button right there, it will take you to a third-party website called skeda.com. You'll make a quick login. You don't already have a login. You'll need to make one, but make a quick login for this website, because what happens once you've logged in is it opens up to like almost an Excel spreadsheet, if you will. And at the top, it will specify all of the conference rooms we have by name. It will also tell you the number of people that can be held in that room, just because again, I don't expect you guys to have the conference room names memorized. You guys are still trying to navigate like where things are. Let's not worry about adding the names into the mix. So at least you'll know right away if that's going to fit your group that you're meeting with, by having the number up there as well. And then down the side, you're going to see all the time slots, and you'll actively see like blocked off reservations, and you can just drag and drop to add your own in between. The reason we ask you guys to reserve the room, of course, is to respect your privacy, make sure that nobody's going to come in and invade your privacy while you're in there, but also to make sure that the room's available for you, because we would hate for you guys to have this plan of, I'm going to meet with my clients, I'm going to go in that 6-person conference room, then you get there and you're like, and they're all taken. And then that's just super awkward. So we want to make sure that you guys are well equipped and prepared. So register, make an account, and then start booking anything that you might need. Through the same website, you guys can book those focus rooms, which are just outside the hallway here. And those are going to be similar in concept. They're closed doored offices, but they are going to just be single desk office spaces so that you guys can come in and maybe lead generate in the mornings, but you have the privacy. Because, like, if you're like me, I talk a lot, as you've probably noticed, and I will not stop, and I will talk to anybody that lets me. So, that's a really good option for me because it allows me to be back there when I can focus. So if you guys need something similar at any point, those are great independent workspaces that you guys can borrow and use. Other than that, the hub area is always a great option just outside this door, but that's going to be a more communal space. But if you would like privacy anytime the training room is vacant as well, you're welcome to be in the training room too. Also, through that website, you can book the media room. We ask you guys to get some training under your belt before you start booking that to film content in there. We'll talk a little bit more about how to book those media room trainings, but I'll give you a hint. It's like right there. But we'll talk a little bit more about it later. Just know that if you're interested in booking the media room and you've done your trainings, all you have to do is go where you would book for a conference room in order to book the media room. I'm going to take us back to our homepage and we're going to keep scrolling down. You'll find that our leadership team is outlined here. Everybody that's currently serving on our leadership team is specified with their specific title and their email address. So it just makes it easier for you to reach a lot of us. You also should have gotten a handout with that information shared with you. There are some pinned videos that we come across next. These are actually done by Leah. She is one of our marketing specialists in the office, and she actually started out with the Scott Leroy team. So she has a lot of really great knowledge to share when it comes to your technology here. So these 2 pinned videos are really, really frequently asked for. So we like to point them out to you and keep them easily accessible. The bottom video that you're looking at is going to be an KW Command with DocuSign Ultimate Overview. Essentially, when you get your DocuSign account and you get your Command account, they might not already be connected. So this video is going to walk you guys through the steps to take to make sure everything's linked together so that easily your workflow will work so that you can be in command and grab your documents, put them in your folder in command, and vice versa. So it's going to make sure that your workflow efficiency is where it needs to be so that when you're working with your first set of clients, it's much easier for you guys to have everything already working and functioning as it should. There's nothing worse again than getting excited. You got your clients, and then you get into DocuSign. You're like, where are the forms? There's supposed to be forms in here. So this will make sure that you guys have the steps you need to ensure success later on. Speaking of this video will introduce you guys how to put in your NERDS ID number. That's how you get those forms in there. That NERDS ID number you will only have after you have processed your membership application with MLS. So once you have MLS, you'll have the NERDS ID. Watch that video, and it will teach you where to put that so that your forms show up in DocuSign. Above that video is a video on how to submit commission requests. Leah's done this one as well. This one, I do not expect you guys to need right out of the gate, but when you go under contract on anything moving forward with your clients, you're going to want to submit commission requests. It allows us to be aware of the closing so we can be anticipating that check's arrival or the wire's arrival, and then we can be prepared to pay you guys accordingly. This lets Lynn know that closing's coming, and then she can double check your work, make sure everything looks good. Carla, our compliance coordinator, is in the background checking your actual contracts and forms that are in there. But once Carla's approved all your files and then Lynn has approved that commission request, once we have your check in hand or your wire in hand, typically speaking, she can process that next business day for you. So just be aware again, I don't necessarily think you'll need to understand how to submit commission requests by next week, but when the time comes that you're going under contract, go back and watch this video. It will be very helpful in how to complete the commission request. We do stumble across our office calendar. As a reminder, the easiest way to get here is to click office calendar at the top and it drags you to that section. Hopefully we do remember looking at this, but if you click here above the calendar itself for the full calendar view, this will open up to our office training calendar. As a reminder, it's very rare to find anything that is invitation only on this calendar. So anything that sounds appealing to you guys, we would love to have you in the room. We want you guys to be growing. We want you guys to be blossoming. So anything that you are seeing on here that sounds exciting, go ahead and join us. And click on any one event and you'll get a full description associated with it as well. So that way you know what to expect with that particular class and whether or not you want to participate. If it's something in person, you either will have to register or you will not. It will always tell you. So you'll see that this one is no registration necessary. It's right there in bold. We also are going to have ones like our next Wednesday, which is going to require registration. It specifies, and the link is right there to make it easy. Anything you guys could ever do as a Zoom option, you will always find Zoom or Google Meet information posted in the description as well. So just be aware that hopefully makes it a one-stop shop for you. And if you have questions, I'm never hurt or offended. Please just reach out to me and ask because I will definitely help you guys to navigate that a little bit better. The last thing is just, again, for your own organization purposes and for your making your life a little bit easier. If you'd like to have very convenient access to this calendar where you don't necessarily have to keep coming back and forth to our website, you can go to the bottom left corner. There is an Add to Google Calendar button that will copy this information over to your calendar. It will be a live calendar, so any changes that I'm making, you'll see on yours in real time. And then underneath our office calendar, we do see that there's just some specific recurring events that are outlined here. Not to say they're the only recurring events we have, but these are specific ones that we like to point out. We do have ALC meetings on the third Tuesday of every month. So actually next Tuesday for Ignite, if you guys are in person, you guys will learn from 9 to 11. And then at 11 o'clock, instead of doing your normal workshop period, what's going to happen is you're actually going to be able to observe an ALC meeting. The ALC is our Agent Leadership Council. These are top producing agents in our office who have volunteered a bit of their extra time to serve as different committee members in our office, just basically ensuring that Valentine is always growing and moving in the right direction, being the best place for you guys to call home. So we've got a growth committee and a social committee. And that way, or sorry, growth committee and a KW cares committee. I did not mean to say social. Your growth committee is focusing on helping to not only grow the market center, but most importantly for you, they are helping you guys to grow your downlines. So if you're interested in building up your own profit share and passive income, they can help you with scripts around that. They can help you with opportunities to start having those conversations. So if that's something that appeals to you, please have conversations with them. They would be more than happy to get to know you. And then the KW Cares Committee. KW Cares is our charitable arm here at Keller Williams. We have a national KW Cares Fund that you can donate to. We also have a local fund here for this office. And really what that is, it's our ability to help support our own agents through your donations. So in the event of anything ever happening, a lot of times we have some additional funds that we may be able to use to help agents through tough times. I know specifically our national scale of KW Cares, they do disaster relief. So like when the floods happened in North Carolina last year, or 2 years ago now? No, last year. It is 2 years ago. Yeah, it is. Like, gosh, that's so crazy to think about. I guess it's like technically like like 2 falls ago. It's not like 2 full years ago, but when that happened, KW Cares was actually the first boots on the ground with generators. They got there with generators before FEMA did. So it's a real, very powerful charity arm that we have, and we encourage you guys to learn more about it. Consider donating to it just to support other agents as you hear more about it. But ALC, those are the two committees they're focusing on. And every month they get together collectively and they talk about what to expect. They make decisions on the future of Valentine together. They also have higher level business masterminds. So it's a really great opportunity for you guys to observe some wonderful conversation. If you choose to go to an ALC meeting, we are just asking you guys to allow them to hold the floor, and you guys will be strictly in there to observe. To the right of that is team meetings. Those happen on the second and fourth Tuesday of every month, and those are a lot more high energy, really fun. I hope that everyone's had a chance to attend one of those team meetings. But if you've not, we pack out this training room, and we're always bringing a special guest, an agent panel. We're doing an activity so that we can make sure that that's a valuable hour for you guys as well. And then in addition, we are also bringing in Tasha. We're bringing in Jules and Leah. We're bringing in our in-house lenders to give you guys important updates as well so that you, again, are always the leading experts. You guys have tons of good information. And then on top of that, with our team meetings, we invite our vendor partners to them as well. So you guys can start building relationships with vendor partners just by stepping out into the hub area where they'll be situated. After the team meeting, you'll see Tech Tuesdays. As I mentioned, we do Tech Tuesdays every single Tuesday. Those are going to be from 1 to 2:30, Monday through Friday, or sorry, 1 to 2:30 every Tuesday of the month. And they are going to be specifically focusing on command and DocuSign training. So that way you guys can learn how to take your basic level of understanding with those platforms and start to use it at a higher level so that it's kind of working for you and you guys are saving yourself some time and energy. Underneath, you do come across our wonderful BIC and BIC associate. Miss Sharon Martin also stepped up at the very beginning of the year, so I have to add Sharon's photo. Forgive me, that is not there yet. But Sabra is our broker in charge. Tasha Viney is our BIC associate, as is Sharon Martin. Sabra, unfortunately, is not physically in the office very often. She previously had been caring for her mother, who was 102, and her mother unfortunately did just pass not that long ago. So Sabra has not been in the office in a bit of time, just trying to help out with that. But sometimes she'll pop in to surprise everybody. That does not mean she's not accessible to you, though. If you need to reach her through phone or email, she is very, very communicative and she is very quick to help. She is one of the most patient and kind women I've ever met in my life. So I really hope you guys get to build a relationship with her because she's a wonderful woman to get to know. And she is incredibly knowledgeable. She's been with our market center over 20 years. And then Tasha Viney and Sharon Martin are going to be her right hands. So because she's not in the office as often, she does have hands-on support here at the office for you guys. So if you do want to just stop by and ask a quick question one day, Sharon and Tasha are available for you to do that. You also can reach out to Sharon Martin and Tasha Viney through email and phone as well if you're not at the office or if they're not at the office one day when you stop in. So they are always accessible. I always say that when it's a hair on fire moment because your transaction is blown up, you're going to want to reach out to Sabra directly. But if it's more of an administrative question, maybe that business card approval or anything similar, it's not so time sensitive. You can always refer to Tasha and Sharon because they're going to have a lot of that same information and they're going to be able to answer that for you very quickly. I know we are nowhere. Oh, there are office hours posted here, just so you guys know. And their office, Sharon and Tasha's office, is actually just in the main hallway. If you guys were to head towards the lobby from here, you'll actually have to pass by Tasha and Sharon's office on your way. Outside of that, though, I know we're nowhere near June, but when it comes time for you to renew your license, especially in future years, if you just want to make sure you're up to date on all your requirements, you got the continuing education, you paid the dues that you're supposed to, there's some fantastic little handouts here that will walk you through a lot of that information so that, again, it just makes your life a little bit easier and it makes it a little less scary for the first time. Down here, you'll find our actual ALC members, their information, their also the committees that they're serving on, and their contact information. So just pay attention to that if you would like to get connected with anybody. And then lastly, we are coming across some of those pillars of mentorship. So we're going to see our productivity coaches are listed here. As you guys probably remember, two of the most important resources you're going to be given in your very beginning time at KW Valentine, especially when you're new to real estate, is your coach and your transaction partner. Your productivity coach is going to be here to help you guys support building that foundation for your business, understanding what it takes to be a real estate agent, building that business for success, helping you generate leads, script practice, understanding what the market's doing. Your coach is going to be phenomenal in helping that understanding grow. And they will meet with you guys every single week at the same meeting time, about an hour. It's a group setting, so you guys can bond with other new agents and get lots of great instruction. But they are here to help you guys develop those businesses from the ground up. And then you're also going to be assigned to a transaction partner who also will have weekly group meeting sessions, but their focus is entirely on your contracts and forms. So that way you guys know how to fill them out and then share that information with your clients. So when you're sitting down at the table together, you don't feel intimidated. You feel very confident in your knowledge about those documents. But both of these pillars of mentorship will be introduced to you guys in the first few weeks that you're getting settled in. Your coach specifically is going to be a phone call from Michelle Amador, who oversees the program. She's going to reach out to you guys, get to know you better, and then also get to know your availability before she makes some recommendations for you amongst the coaches. And then the transaction partner is just a simple email from me. I reach out, I give you all the available meeting times, and you just let me know what works best. And then I told you at the bottom, we've got some other things that you guys can find at the top way easier. So we're going to head back that way. The FAQ tab is the next one that I like to highlight. It's at the top of the page here. By clicking on that, it's just giving you guys an example of some commonly asked questions that we get. And then it's telling you, if you hover your mouse over it, it's telling you who on leadership handles that responsibility so that if those questions come up or something similar, you know who you should be in contact with for the best assistance. And again, you guys kind of have something in your packets from when you met with me that is similar to this, but just in case this is helpful, you'll find lots of good information. And then as a reminder, if you're not finding your question on this little page, feel free to reach out to me through email, give me a phone call, or stop by my office, and I will help you guys get the answer you may be looking for, even if it's not from me directly. On-demand training is the next tab. I do skip over about just, again, you guys can explore some of this on your own. This is going to have a password protected piece. I don't know if anyone's got that little packet available. I feel bad. Hold on. I'm going to make this a little bit easier for you guys. This password that's written down over here is going to be pretty much what you want for this page. I just want you guys to ignore the exclamation point. So when it comes to the password for this page, just imagine that this is not here. We're going capital B, lowercase AMC 350. Don't do the exclamation point. That's just for the Wi-Fi. And then online, I will say that password to you guys again in just a moment when we're looking at the next tab. But for now, capital B, lowercase AMC 350. When you've typed in that information, it's now going to open up on the left-hand side under On Demand. If you guys select that button, what it does is it takes you to our KW Valentine YouTube channel. So through Keller Williams Valentine, we do have an online presence as well. We post some recorded trainings to this so that you guys can go back and find information, either revisit it or visit stuff that you might have missed. We also post live interviews that Teresa does with different members of our office, whether it's a lender, whether it's our marketing specialist, other agents. We get lots of great information. We post some of our special events as well. So what I would say when it comes to the recordings that get uploaded here, this is not every single training that's offered in this office. You will not find all of them here. You're going to find the specific recurring meetings that we hold that we are going to publish here. And why we do that is because we want to make sure that you guys are always getting the most relevant information when you are looking for it. Because I understand that there's going to be times that you might end up looking at information and it's changed since the last time we talked about it. So this is your way of staying on top of all things KW Valentine, whether that is a team meeting, whether that's a Tech Tuesday, but we organize the trainings that get published here by the type of training it is. So this way it's easier for you to identify what is going to get published here because it is not everything again. If you guys are looking for something specific and you do not see it, please email me because just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not like published on this page unlisted or that I don't have access to a recording I can share with you. But please try not to be too reliant on that. Obviously, dual career agents, if you have a really, really, really tough schedule, I understand making more of the recorded trainings than maybe live participation. But as often as you guys can participate live, whether that's face to face like we are now or online like some of us are today, whether that's in person or online, as long as it is live participation, that is what we encourage you to do as often as you can. And it is not to inconvenience you guys and make you come into the office or drop what you're doing and sit on a Zoom with us. It's actually purely so that you guys have the opportunity to ask your questions in real time. Because there's nothing worse than being like, okay, I just watched a 1 hour video. I have 16 questions. I really hope I run into Rob tomorrow because otherwise I don't know how I'm going to do the next thing I need to do. So keep that in mind. Live participation is great for you because it allows you guys the opportunity to ask questions in real time and get answers in real time. But please reach out to me if you're looking for something specific. I do a lot of the uploads to this channel, as does Rob Miller. And then on the right-hand side under Command on Demand, if you select On Demand, what this will do is it will take you to the Scott Leroy Marketing YouTube channel, which we've all talked about already. I know we talked about answers.kw.com as a great on-demand resource for navigating your KW technology, but the Scott Leroy Marketing YouTube channel is another excellent option. And I like to specifically bring it to your attention because YouTube tutorials tend to be the favorite over the two options. So this is a great way for you guys to get, again, timely tech information when you may be looking to learn about it. You can see all the different kinds of videos that they have. They have some that are just a few minutes and some that are full-length trainings. So again, if you're looking for something specific that might not be getting offered in the office, you guys have another resource that you can get to anytime you need it. As we scroll a little bit further, the same pin videos we already looked at, we're going to find them on this page as well. And then there's a little bit more information about Ignite in addition to that. The next is Office Resources. I do not click on this tab yet. I just hover my mouse because this little drop-down menu shows up. And I think some of those items are easier to access from the drop-down than they are when you're inside of the tab. So advertising guidelines is one that, again, it's relevant, especially when you guys are talking about business cards, marketing. Advertising guidelines is going to tell you the do's and don'ts when it comes to your license status. If you're provisional broker versus broker, here are the do's and don'ts for you. And it's going to break down a lot of that in a much more digestible way. So you already kind of know what you can and cannot have on a design, whether that's a social media post, a business card, what have you. That'll be good information to reference, especially when designing different things. But above all else, always know that you can reach out to Tasha or Sharon to get approval on your design if you have any hesitation. I hate to break it to you guys, but if you are provisional brokers, typically it's a little more strict in trying to regulate what you guys are putting out there. Underneath advertising guidelines, you'll find that there is also the Valentine phone roster. That is going to be an internal phone roster that documents all of our agents' contact information and our leadership team. So if you guys were like, oh my gosh, I met somebody wonderful in class and they said something about they need an open house host, but shoot, I don't have her email or her phone number. I don't know how to tell her that I am available to hold that for her. You guys can reference our phone roster and find the agent's name, and it will literally tell you all their contact information. You can just reach right out that way. The other reason we have that phone roster published for you is so that if you are looking to mass communicate, like do an email blast to everybody in the office, you guys can easily get in there and copy and paste all the email addresses into a composed email in Gmail or your Keller Williams email and send it out. So we see that sometimes with firm exclusive listings. We see that sometimes if your sellers or buyers are not taking certain property with them and they need to get it off their hands quickly. So those are going to be really good opportunities to use that mass email. And it can be done by copying and pasting directly out of the phone roster. Please be aware that if you are going to do that, just BCC everybody on that email because I learned the hard way what BCC meant by not BCCing everybody. And it meant that every single time someone responded to the email, everybody else knew about it. So I learned that like my first week, and I've never made that same mistake twice. So do better than me and BCC everybody. Um, After that, there is a concession request. Again, something that just to be aware that it's here, although I don't think you'll need it right now. This is if you guys were ever altering your commissions, because technically Keller Williams Ballantyne is what's paid first, and then we pay to you as the subcontractor or the independent contractor in the situation. Anytime you're changing your commissions, we need to be aware of that because we are the initial payee. And Sabra, our BIC, needs to sign off on that. So anytime you guys are looking to change your commissions, I've heard agents before say like, "Oh, yep, nope, as a nice little gesture, I decided I was going to actually take the buyer's home warranty out of my commission, so I paid that for them just as a nice gesture for my client." That's very wonderful, but that does need to be approved by Sabra. So the way you go about getting that letter saying that Sabra says, "Yes, that's okay, go ahead and do that," is you guys submit a concession request. You click on that, you fill out all the information pertaining to your deal, and then that allows us to collect what we need from you to get you that letter as quickly as possible. So just be aware again, I don't think you'll need it right away, but if you do ever change your commissions from what it should have been to something slightly different, go ahead and fill that out so you can get the concession letter drafted and you have what you need to close the transaction and get paid. Underneath that is the do not call registry. I know this one typically we're aware of because of real estate school. I know they talk about this one with you. It's very important you know who is on the do not call list because if you do not and you make the mistake of calling the wrong person, you guys can not only be subject to thousands in fines, but you also can get subjected to court time. So that's like a double loss in my book, and I don't really care for that idea for anybody. I don't want that to happen to you guys. So in order to stay ahead, make sure you're not contacting the wrong people. You will need to register for this list so that you have access to that information and do not call the wrong person. So that is my second homework assignment. And I promise it's the last one. Make sure you click on the do not call list in the drop down menu and follow those steps to get registered to access that information so that nobody else has to get in trouble. We always say Sabra doesn't look good in orange, so please don't make Sabra go to jail. So just keep it in the back of your brain, make it a priority in the next week or so to have that information accessible. Lastly, those other two items we see in the dropdown, I do think these are easier to access once they're inside the tab. So we can officially click on Office Resources at this point. I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. And what you're going to see is that it's asking me for the same password that we just used. So you want to use that capital B, lowercase a, M, C, 350 password. Once you've typed in that password, you'll see here that we do have forms and checklists available. I will stop you right here. It's not going to be every single form you're looking for, unfortunately. These are going to be Ballantyne specific documents that you guys are commonly asking for. So Sabre went ahead and put together a Google Drive folder to keep all those forms together so that we never slow you guys down. When you need that information, you can get that information. So I know most of us tend to be North Carolina licensed. So I'm going to click under general forms. I'm going to go ahead and click get forms. This is going to take me to that Google Drive folder that houses all of those wonderful documents. So you're going to see, for example, we have our W-9s get posted here, our working with real estate agent disclosures. We have referral agreements that get posted here. You get, let's see, firm exclusive documents are posted here, affiliated business disclosures. So things that are unique to KW Ballantyne that you will be asked for during certain transactions. Even we've got, let's see, septic and sewers, another big one, referral forms, if I didn't already mention that one. And then just different handouts that are very useful to you guys. Anytime you're looking for these documents, you're going to go to the left-hand Get Forms button for North Carolina, and you're going to go to the right-hand Get Forms button for SC forms. So you've got North Carolina on the left, South Carolina on the right. I specifically like to point out again, those are Ballantyne specific documents. So if you're looking in those Google Drive folders and you can't find what you're looking for, go and check your DocuSign. If you're in your DocuSign and you can't find the form you're looking for, come and check this Google Drive folder. Between the two resources, you guys should have access to everything you need, but sometimes it takes starting out in one to realize what you're missing to go grab the other. So just be aware. And then in the middle under Office Checklist, if we click on Get Checklists, this actually is going to open up now to another Google Drive folder. But this one's really cool because Sabra actually built these and put these together herself. If you guys are working any transaction, North, South Carolina, buyer, seller, rental, doesn't matter. If you click on what we've got posted here, Sabra has designed a checklist that outlines every single one of your responsibilities as the agent in that transaction, no matter what side, no matter what state. She's specified every task you're responsible for, if there's a timetable associated with that task, and then given you a spot where you literally can check off that you've gotten that done. I like to point this out to you guys because, again, we do not expect those first few transactions for you guys to feel like muscle memory. You are going to maybe feel like you're kind of like stumbling through at times, and that's okay. But we're going to do everything in our power to make sure you guys feel as confident as you possibly can. And sometimes that starts with something like it's this checklist, for example. You guys can print this off. You guys can go through and make sure you covered all of the covered all the bases that you needed to. If you realize that there's something you missed, you can obviously go ahead and make sure you get that done before closing. But this is going to make sure that you guys have gotten all your ducks in a row before you guys make it to the closing table so that you've done everything you needed to best help your clients in the situation. And again, she's got North and South Carolina buyers and sellers in this Get Checklist button. So just be aware that this is here because, again, we want you guys to have access to stuff like that when you're working through those first few deals. Over time, it'll start to feel more natural and you might not need them, but they're here for you in the meantime. And again, all I did to do that was just go into the Office Checklist, Get Checklist button. The next item is the CE shop. I always click on find classes to show you guys that we do have a dual branded website with the CE shop. They partner with us and you guys actually have access to discount codes through real estate education through the CE shop. We also have a partnership with Superior. We'll talk about that one in a little bit. But the CE shop has some pretty cool features on their website. Just a couple of things I like to point out though. One is that for those who don't know, the CE shop really focuses a lot on self-paced learning. So if you've never done that or you're not quite sure if it would be a fit for you as a learning style, but you know that that might work better for your schedule, for example, but you're just not sure if you want to commit. You guys can do free trials through the CE shop and actually explore what that self-paced program looks like. You guys can do it for 1 week for free. If you love it, then you can go ahead and purchase the rest of the course at the end of that point. But if you hated it, you get to walk away and there's no consequence to you for having done that free trial and maybe not done as good as you thought you would. But be aware that, again, I know North Carolina is all that Superior really handles. If you guys are looking for additional states, though, CE Shop is always a good option. They've got almost all of the states, I feel like, listed. But through the CE Shop, like I was saying, we do have through our partnership, we have discount codes for real estate education. You guys are welcome to use these at any point in your business for your own personal gain and your own personal benefit, but you also can share them with other people as well. And there's no requirement for someone to join Ballantyne for using this information. So if you'd like to make someone's day, if you've got a friend down the street who might be trying to get into real estate, you can share these codes with them, guys, and then they can get in for less. And then you guys are already in conversation, and hey, maybe they end up deciding to join a Keller Williams because of how you guys showed up. And then when they are asked that question about naming a sponsor, they choose you and you're building your passive income. So just be aware that that's out there for your use and for you to share. Lots of discounts. CE Shop specifically will fluctuate in the discount they offer. They do flash 1 day sales a lot where sometimes it's as low as 20%, but sometimes it's as high as 50%. Anytime they're doing a flash sale that's 1 day only, I always am told about it ahead of time and I post about it on our Facebook page so that way you guys can take advantage of that discount code all day long. I posted at 8 o'clock in the morning too, just to make sure you guys get a good chance to use it. FYI, if you miss out on this 40% off right here, they are doing another 40% off next Wednesday, and you guys can find the code on Facebook next Wednesday. And then at the very bottom, just in case, I know
this day and age, social media marketing is huge. It's a huge resource because it's inexpensive and because the outreach is kind of unlimited. So if your plan is to do a lot with social media to help advertise your new business, I just want you guys to have some like cheat codes to make your life easier. So at the bottom here, there's this little agent essentials category. There's a little section that says hot topics. And I swear this used to be at the top of the page in way bigger writing. So I'm not crazy. I would never have found this if it was always there. But the hot topics is actually just like this library of content. It's going to be ebooks, blogs, podcast videos. Everything is related to real estate, though. So this is stuff that you guys can benefit from as the agent, just building up your knowledge base as well. But the easy button kind of cheat code method that I was referring to is that I don't know everything about social media marketing, but I do know two important details. Two important details. One is that you guys should be posting often. You should be posting regularly, if not every day, every other day. Stay on that website or stay on that profile. Stay active. In addition, you need to be diversifying the content that you're sharing. Because if you guys do not diversify the content that you're sharing, you might end up kind of losing people. And the algorithms nowadays, they'll kind of hide your stuff from people's eyesight. So in order to save you guys the trouble of having to come up with original content every single day, because there will be days that you're going to roll out of bed and be like, I have nothing to say on Facebook today. This is where you guys can use this as a cheat button. Go ahead and share the link as just your whole post for the day. It can be something, again, that you benefit from, but it also can be relevant to real estate that you can post to help your clientele and any future clientele increase their knowledge base too. And then they're going to know, oh my gosh, they're such a great resource. And they're going to think of you when they're thinking real estate. So just be aware that this is an easy button for those of us who plan to do a lot of social media marketing and might just run out of ideas one day. This is a good backup plan for you. There is access to our Valentine floor plan. If we go back to our website real quick, I've never, I'll be honest with you guys, never had somebody ask me for that. But if you want to be the first one to need that floor plan, you can find it right here on this website. And then after the floor plan, we also have this section dedicated to numbers to know. None of this is information we expect you to have memorized because you're not going to need it often enough to memorize it. But there are going to be some important numbers like the federal tax ID. When you guys are doing referrals, you're going to need that number. Occasionally, you might need our MLS ID number for the firm. You also might go on to get your South Carolina license, and you might need the South Carolina license for the firm. So anything like that, these are numbers you might not need all the time, but they're going to live right here at the bottom of our office resources page. And honestly, I would say that when it comes to these numbers, a lot of them will be in your little packets that you got from me already. But anything you're missing, come right here to this page. If you don't remember how to get to it, though, email me. I am not upset. If you ask me how to get to this information again, I'll definitely tell you. So just let me know. I already told you guys about that office calendar button. It takes you right to where you want to be. The More tab, I promise we're not going to go over everything here. Half of it we already talked about because it's tech trainings. It's just connecting you with different resources. So you can find a lot of tech resources right here, easy from the drop down menu. But just so you're aware, we do post those ALC meeting minutes. I know I said it's in person only and you guys are just there to observe. But if you guys ever miss one of those meetings, instead of having like a recording from it, we post meeting minutes to a Google Drive folder so you can always figure out what was discussed and if anything's going to be changing at Valentine that you should be aware of. Below that is a prayer request form, and that's really more of a talking point for me than anything else. You're welcome to fill out that form, but really it's just to tell you guys how sincerely we do consider you to be a part of this family from the days that you guys walk in the door. So if there's ever anything going on in your personal lives that we can be aware of and support you through, please tell us. Like, I don't want anybody suffering in silence. I don't want anyone to feel like they're going at hardship alone. So if there's anything we can do to assist you guys, whether that's giving you hugs in the hallway, sending you cards, checking in, or maybe it is something that KW Cares can be a part of, please be aware that we care and we want to know so we can do what we can for you. So keep us in mind. And if you're comfortable with it as a leadership team, we would be happy to pray for you guys. If that is something that you feel comfortable and you want to really amp that up and build prayer power, let us know. We would be happy to share it with the Market Center if that's something you ask us to do. But otherwise, your information always stays private with leadership. Underneath that is KW perks. I think that most of us are probably young enough that we might not have to worry about insurance, but if we're like right on the cusp of needing insurance, now that you're an independent contractor, you might not have it through your employer. KW Perks is just a way for you guys to shop the insurance marketplace at a discount. So If that is something that speaks to you, go ahead and follow that because it's going to be helpful. But you obviously, if you're not in that boat, don't worry just yet. Scheduling a conference room, I told you guys, lives right here, so really easy to access. KWB firm exclusive listings. Occasionally, people in this office will take a listing and instead of putting it in an MLS, they're going to give it firm exclusive title, which means it's only going to be available to you guys as an agent with this brokerage. So when that happens, because it's not in MLS, we've got to find other ways to get that information. So we have a live spreadsheet that documents any additional listings that are firm exclusive in this office. It'll tell you information about them. And it's a live document, so Saber's constantly uploading it or updating it. I specifically like to make you guys aware of the firm exclusive listing spreadsheet because if you're ever working with buyers and you feel like you have exhausted MLS and you're not finding what that buyer's looking for, check the firm exclusive listings because there might be something that's available to you just in this office that wouldn't show up in your MLS search that is the perfect fit. So just be aware that that's there. Strategic vendor partners is below that. If you guys are not big Facebook users, or maybe you just forgot about that vendor page, you can click on that and it will take you to our spreadsheet that documents all of our vendor partners. It shows you them by industry. It tells you who our direct contact is, their information, and also how you can either reach them online. They also have their services disclosed. But if you guys don't already have connections with vendors, which most new agents don't quite have that yet, you can find it here. We want you guys to have that so that you can grab multiple quotes for your clients. You can find somebody that you can trust right out of the gate. So just be aware. This is going to be organized and alphabetized by their industry. So it makes it a little bit easier for you guys to find their information. And you'll see like under cleaning services, right now we don't have anyone listed under cleaning services. It's not because we hate cleaning service. It's actually just because currently nobody is in our program in that industry. So that's actually an opportunity. If you guys know of anybody, whether you work with them because you hire them for a client, or you've worked with them personally at your own property, or they're a good family friend that you know that they have a good reputation in their business, you guys are allowed to refer people to our vendor program too. That's how we build this up to be such a wonderful program. The best way to do that, all you have to do when you have a vendor in mind, you do not have to know any of the details about our vendor program. I want you to just extend the opportunity to them. If they take interest, what you're going to do is you're going to take that vendor and you're going to connect them on email with PJ Kennedy. And PJ Kennedy has business cards right up at the front desk. So you can grab one of them and then you'll have his email permanently, but you'll just be able to connect them via email. And PJ will then step in, offer to talk to them over the phone, go over the details they need, send them the paperwork to fill out, and even give them an office tour. And if they decide that this is the right decision to move forward, then they will go ahead and sign on to the program and you'll see their information right here. So there is a charge for the vendors to participate in the program. I think it's $800 for the whole year. It does get prorated as the year goes on. And if it's a new home construction, it is higher, and if it's a home inspector, it's free because of RESPA. But normally it would be $800 for the whole year. And again, if they joined, a couple months in, they wanted to, prorated, exactly. So just keep that in mind. And you can always talk to PJ about more details too, if you'd like to. But he's happy to do the legwork if you don't want to. Um, Other than the vendor spreadsheet we looked at, Outfront Magazine is just another cheat code for you guys. I know we looked at Hot Topics in the CE shop. If you guys are looking for something similar that's not just the same CE shop articles over and over, Outfront Magazine is published through Keller Williams. It literally outlines, like a normal magazine would, a monthly publishment that will outline a single post that you guys can do every single day of the month. So if you guys are running out of content ideas and you are trying to make sure that you're staying active on your page and changing it up, reference Outfront Magazine because they will have already given you an idea for that day of what to share about on your social media. I can tell you guys, again, I've not looked into this too far just because I'm not an agent, so I'm not quite in your shoes. I can't speak to the fact that it might be like copy and paste worthy or if it's more like a prompt that like encourages you to do your own thing. But Outfront Magazine has lots of fantastic information you can reference. And then below that, if you click discount codes for real estate education, I know we showed you guys the CE web shop or website, but to the right of that is our superior discounts. Those are always going to be 30% off. No matter what kind of class, it's always 30% off. You just have to go through one of those links. It's a pre-licensing, post-licensing, and CE. And again, it's not just for your benefit, it's for you guys to share as well. So just be aware that that's an opportunity. I'm hoping that you guys remember these marketing and tech help buttons. Do we feel like we do remember those? Like what you can do through those and who you're booking meetings with? Yeah. If not, I'll go back over it, but I'm just trying to get you guys out of here because I went a little over. If you guys would like to book a one-on-one marketing consult with Jules and Leah, fantastic opportunity. It's a free appointment where they help you guys strategize uniquely for your business. You can book it through the marketing help button. If you guys are looking for help one-on-one for your KW technology, Command, DocuSign, anything like that, you're going to use the tech help button to the right of that. That's going to let you book a one-on-one with Rob Miller. There's also an easy spot for you guys to get your media room training done as well through that same button. The only other thing I mentioned is call time right here. And Sue has a separate class that she teaches specifically about how call time works. It's only 30 minutes, so it's really easy. But if you guys have noticed, when you've come into the office at the front desk, sometimes there's somebody different sitting next to Sue up front. So that's an agent that actually is voluntarily working a call time shift. We have 3 different call time shifts each day, 3 different, and it's 3 hours at a time. So you can do 8:30 to 11:30, 11:30 to 2:30, 2:30 to 5:30. You sit up there on call time, and not only does it give you guys the opportunity during that shift, one, to get to know Sue, and she's wonderful. She's very, very sweet. You guys can talk to Sue, but you get to know other agents because agents are always passing through the lobby. You also get to understand a little bit more about how our office functions and where things are. So it is a really great way to get to know the office. And then my favorite part, and this will be your favorite part, I'm pretty sure, is that anytime that phone rings up front, and it's somebody who is looking for connecting with an agent that doesn't already have an agent, that's your lead. You get to keep that lead. There's no charge associated with that. If you work that call time shift and a lead comes in, it's yours to keep. So it's another way for you guys, again, just to get the ball rolling in your business. We've heard from several different agents over time that a lot of their first leads come from call time. I had somebody who got like $1 million lead from call time. So just keep that in mind. There are people who will call the firm to try to find an agent. And so anytime that happens, it is yours to keep. All you guys have to do to book your call time shift is click on that there, and it will allow you to see the schedule. You can add yourself to the calendar, go sit up front and hang out with Sue for a little bit. And then as you guys get used to it, you can do it more often. There's also an opportunity. She might ask you guys to do like a regular call time shift first. She'll tell you more about it. There's an opportunity for you guys on the weekends. You guys can actually, because we're not physically here on the weekends, you can ask, you can volunteer for the weekend shift. And what'll happen is that we divert our phones to yours all weekend long. So if any phone calls come to KW Ballantyne from Friday night all the way through Sunday, that gets forwarded to your cell phone wherever you are. And then that way, again, any of those leads are yours to keep. So just keep that in mind. I think that's really, really, really helpful for you guys to get the ball rolling in your business. All you have to do to book the shift is click that button. If you guys want to just talk to Sue a little bit more about call time, she goes over the specifics on the first Monday of every month. So February 2nd, she'll meet with you guys. It's 12:30 to 1. She does online or in person. And I know that's several weeks away. So if you guys are eager to get started in call time and don't want to wait that long, just go talk to Sue. She would gladly have the same conversation with you right up front. So be aware that's a great way for you guys to be at the office, have something to do, and hopefully start your business up. But that's everything I had. I know that's still a lot to take in. I know I went quickly for the sake of time today. So my best recommendation before you guys freak out, my best recommendation is go back through this website at your leisure. It does not need to be tomorrow. It does not need to be next week necessarily, but just go back through and see if you guys can remember where we found certain things today. I think that goes a long way in helping it to sink into your brains. And I also understand if you have questions right now that you'd like answered before I let you guys enjoy your weekend. So, are there any questions that you guys might have based off of what we did go over? Anything I can go back over for you? Because I might have went too fast. That's a win. That's a win. I feel good. I feel really good. Also, there will be a recording of today's training. So if you're lying to me because you're too nice, that's okay. And I will have a recorded version of this training that will get posted to our YouTube channel. You guys can always go back through with me, listen to it again if you really want the info. The other nice thing about YouTube is you can slow down how fast I talk in that. So that's a win as well. But you guys can do that whenever you feel you need to. I will publish that as soon as I can. Otherwise, I don't want to take up any more of your time. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me today, especially so newly being part of this office. Thank you guys for showing up the way you do. We're so excited for you. I appreciate you and have a great weekend, guys. You're so